All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're getting into something that's, well, it's both painful and really confusing for a lot of people. Why capable, responsible women so often get punished for doing the right thing, especially by the people they're closest to. I mean, have you ever been in this situation? You're doing everything right. You're competent. You're shouldering responsibility. You're being clear. And yet, what you get back is resistance, not from strangers, but from your family, your coworkers, the very people you're trying to support. So, what is really going on here?
Well, here's the big takeaway from the material we're looking at today. It's not about you. It's not some personal failing. The pushback you're feeling, it's a structural reaction. It's baked into the system you're in.
And this quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. In a system that's already failing or in decline, your best qualities, your competence, your sense of duty, they stop being seen as assets. Instead, they actually become a threat. They become triggers.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we've got to look at these two big ideas that are constantly clashing within these systems: merit and entitlement. So think of it like this. On one hand, you've got merit. You earn it, right? Through your effort, through being responsible, and, this is key, you have to keep earning it through your actions. But then, on the other side, you've got entitlement. That's not about what you're doing now. It's a claim based on something you did in the past, and that claim tends to grow bigger and bigger over time. And here's the thing about entitlement. It doesn't just pop up out of thin air. It's actually merit that's gone bad. It's what happens when someone stops contributing but still feels like they're owed permanently. It's like their past good deeds have become a moral blank check. And this piece of wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita, it's thousands of years old, but it describes this reaction perfectly. When that entitlement gets challenged, even just by someone else being competent nearby, the response isn't, oh, maybe I should look at myself. No, it's anger. It's hostility. Okay, so we have this clash between merit and entitlement. But now let's add another layer, because this is where things get really intense. Let's talk about the invisible amplifier in this whole equation: gender privilege. Remember how we said merit that isn't renewed turns into a kind of moral license? Well, gender privilege is what pours gasoline on that fire. It helps create this whole system where some people are just expected to give and contribute, while others feel totally entitled to take and extract value. And what does that look like in practice? Well, gender privilege sort of normalizes a whole set of unspoken rules for women. You know, things like you're expected to fix things and keep everything stable, but you don't get any real authority to do it. You're supposed to just absorb losses and not complain. Contribute your heart out, but don't you dare ask for recognition. And you have to be the one who's always adjusting, always being flexible, even when you get nothing back in return. And here's the kicker. As long as women play by these unwritten rules, the whole broken system looks like it's working just fine. It seems stable. But the second a competent woman says, hey, wait a minute, and stands up for her own legitimate rights, she's not causing a problem. She's just shining a big, bright spotlight on the problem that was there all along. So this is where it gets really sneaky. Entitlement almost never walks in the door and says, hi, I'm entitlement. No way. It's a master of disguise. And it shows up in places we see every single day. I mean, listen to these. Do any of them sound familiar? This is just how it's always been. That's not tradition. That's a defense of entitlement. Or, if you really cared, you wouldn't be pushing this. That recast your rights as a betrayal. And the classic, look at what others gave up, why can't you? That's using sacrifice to shame you into silence. These aren't arguments, they're emotional traps. Think about families. You see this all the time around things like inheritance, or just who does all the emotional heavy lifting. A woman can be the glue holding everything and everyone together, but when it comes time to talk about her share, her ownership, her autonomy, suddenly her contributions are invisible, and she's seen as greedy or disruptive. And it's the exact same story at work, right? A woman's competence is amazing, as long as it makes the team or her boss look good. But the minute she asks for the credit she deserves, or the promotion, or even just tries to set a healthy boundary, suddenly she's not a team player or she's difficult. They want her work, but they don't want her agency. And this isn't just about personal relationships. This dynamic scales all the way up. In big institutions, you'll hear a lot of talk about empowerment. But when a woman actually tries to use the systems that are supposed to guarantee fairness, she invokes a policy, asks for transparency, uses her legal rights, she's often treated like she's the one rocking the boat. It's wild. The system frames justice itself as an inconvenience. So, okay, This is a pretty bleak picture, right? It's a big, deeply ingrained problem. So, what's the solution? Where do we go from here? Well, the source material doesn't just leave us with the problem, it gives us a really powerful way to reframe the whole thing. And the answer is wrapped up in this incredible concept from the Gita called swadharma. Basically, it means one's own duty or one's own path. It's about a radical focus on your responsibilities and your rights instead of constantly overextending yourself to cover for others.
Now, this quote really turns our usual thinking on its head. That pressure you feel to just keep the peace, to take on someone else's work, or to give up your own rights so things don't get messy, this wisdom says that's not noble. It's actually dangerous. Why? Because it just props up a broken system and makes the imbalance even worse in the long run.
So, the way forward isn't to get more aggressive or to look for a confrontation, it's about alignment. Just look at this interpretation. Clarity does not need confrontation, it needs consistency. It's about quietly, calmly, and consistently sticking to your own path, your own duties, and your own right. And this is the mental flip we have to make. When you stand your ground, when you claim what's yours by right of your own effort and duty, you are not the aggressor. That feeling of conflict, of tension, that's not coming from you. That's the sound of entitlement cracking under the weight of reality. And that brings us to the final and I think most empowering idea here. A capable, conscientious woman who insists on what's fair, she isn't breaking the system, she's just breaking the illusion. The illusion that an unfair, unbalanced system was ever truly working in the first place.